Now, one of the rules of each learning center, one of the rules for each of the supervisor and the monitor coming to the School Tomorrow program is always enter the learning center with a smile. Whatever happens in your life, whatever happens outside the school, remember, entering the learning center, you should do it with a smile. Because kids will see your happiness, they will see that you are ready, to teach them, and they will see that you are happy to teach them. That's why, don't forget about your smiles. And of course, it's a tough job to work in the school. It's a tough job to work within the School of Tomorrow program, because we have to follow the procedures. So this is the new version of the procedures manual. Oops, that's okay. So that's the new version of the procedures manual. 5 levels of learning and readiness systems. Originally, there were 2 volumes of the procedures manual and a lot of instructions written there. And it's very important to follow the instructions because it's the program. If you miss one link of the chain, inevitably later you will miss the whole program. That's why anytime you come to the learning center, please remember that you as a teacher and a child as a student should follow the procedures. Originally, there were 3 paces for this kind of training. 5 levels of learning part 1, 5 levels of learning part 2, and 5 levels of learning part 3. And the tests after each of them. And for example, after part 1, there were 40 questions. After part 2, they were also from 30 to 40 questions in the PACE test. And of course, when a person receives 5 levels of learning part 3, he would expect again the set of questions. Opens, oops, it's a shock. Because there was only one task. 3 letters missing for the first one, 6 letters missing for the first word, 3 letters missing for the second word, and 6 letters missing for the third one. Just 3 words. 6 letters, 3 letters, and 6 letters. And it cost 100%. No way of 95, no way of 90, just 100. And the answer is, follow the manual. That's the answer to all the questions that you have in this learning center, that you have in the school. Always follow the manual. If you doubt about something, please do not hesitate and open the manual, find the answer in the manual. If a child thinks that he is correct and you are sure that he is incorrect, also open the manual, speak about the procedures of the learning center, speak about the rules of the learning center, and tell the child that these are the procedures that he has to follow. And you as a teacher, you should also follow a lot of the procedures, especially at the beginning of the school year. Because children are back from their vacations on the 1st of September. Well, of course, 1st of September, mostly celebrations. For example, in our school, we have the grand opening of the school year, we have maybe 1 or 2 lessons, but of course, that's not the regular school day. And as of the 2nd of September, this year it will be Friday, you should be ready. And as a teacher of English, you should be ready with everything. The offices, everything that is in the office, the paces, the score keys, the red pen, the green pen for the supervisor, extra pens for the students, extra pencils for the students, because, of course, kids tend to forget about all these not very important things as they think so. That's why you should be ready, 100%. And of course, when we speak about the School of Tomorrow, you need patience. So in our school, we are privileged because we have our warehouse, and any moment, Miss Carol needs a pace, she comes to the office. Well, Miss Helen, I need the pace, please do it at least in a week. And we have Miss Mariam. She comes, sorry, I need the space now. Well, if you are in the schools far away from Moscow, you cannot come to your administrator and tell him or her, I need the spaces. Now I know that they will not order it because it takes time. We make the order, we accept the order, we check if all the places are available, we bill you, you pay, and then different transportation and logistics companies, they help you to receive the places. It takes time. That's why we tell you and we suggest you that you do all the PACE orders at the end of the previous school year. It's better if you order all the PACEs in April or May, because we receive PACEs from the United States and sometimes they do not arrive, or sometimes we receive less than we order. It happens. So that's why you have to predict and you have to know how many PACEs you need for the particular student. That's why you make the order, you pay, and you receive the PACEs. And then when the PACEs arrive, you have to do the student's stock. You see, that facility, this learning center, is not very big. And we have different kinds of places to keep the PACEs. I don't know if the camera will take this. So you see, for some of the kids in this particular learning center, we have already the set of PACEs. For example, this is Trin Tian An, and we have the whole set of PACEs for this particular student for this school year already. So it's English, it's etymology, it's social science, and also I'd like to show, for example, we have some electives. This is basic life of Christ. So some of the materials, they are optional, and some of the PACEs are required, depending on the level of diploma the student is supposed to receive after his graduation. That's why you have the stock PACEs for each of the students. And before the beginning of the school year, you should have all the PACEs for all the students. So these shelves will be absolutely full in a week when all teachers come back from their vacation. Because a day before, or 2 days or 3 days before the school year, you have to prepare the first PACEs for each of the students. And now we are going to start our lecture Train of the PACE. Sorry, my back. So what is happening when you are going to start preparation? Number one, remember, in the learning center there should be the supervisor, and in the learning center there should be the monitor. Supervisor is answering academic questions. Monitor is answering non-academic questions, and monitor is doing non-academic things in the learning center. And for example, when the monitor comes before school, we have another very special document, the supervisor's progress card. That's the document for each of the students. It may be used for 1 or 2 years because there is information on the one side and there is information on the other side. And so the monitor, when coming to the learning center before the school year, he should find the supervisor's progress card. On the supervisor's progress card there should be the student's name. In English, because all the paperwork that we do, it is done in English. Then it should be the school year and the date of birth. Usually, when the supervisor and the monitor are doing all kinds of preparatory work before the end of the school year, they have the plan of PACEs that they would like to order, and they should have all the information here on this supervisor's progress card. And when the monitor comes to this particular learning center, the first thing he should grab, that's supervisor's progress card. And on this supervisor progress card, we should find the information what PACEs we need to pull out of the student's stock. This is the student's stock. And for example, I know that for English, I need PACE number 1109. And usually, the first PACE you need for this particular student for this year is on the top of this subject. For example, 1109 is the first PACE, it's on the top. And the last PACE for English, for the school year will be 1127. It should be at the bottom of this stock. Here is the page. Within this page, there is very important information. And of course, all of the students would like to have the test and to see what are the answers. That's why sometimes I'm very sorry that I have only 2 hands.
I have to.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Al. So, and we take out this piece out of the stock. And the next stock we need, or the next thing we need the supervisor's progress card. So remember, this supervisor's progress card is only for this particular student. And all the information you find on this supervisor's progress card is only about this student. Then, what happens next? We need to enter some information on the supervisor's progress card. And we have different areas in which we put all this information. The first one, that's the number of the page. The second one is the percentage. Number 3, STK. That means stock. That means all the pieces that should be given to the child during the school year should be marked in STK. For example, all pieces in math, all pieces in English, all pieces in social studies, science, and group building. The numbers of these pieces should be written in the line meaning STK. For example, this is page number 1109. We write down 1109. Then 11, 10, 12, and so on and so forth. Till, remember, 1127. That's correct. If you see that the number of the page is in the line STK, that means it should be here. You take out the first one, and it's 1109, and we write in this box near the number 1109. That means we gave out this page to the student. That job is done by the monitor, and the monitor passes the paces to the supervisor, and the supervisor gives the paces to the student. What happens next? You're a student, you received your paces. What are you going to do? You have to start. You open the first page, and on the first page you find goals. You find the goals, you read the goals first to yourself, and then you read the goals to the supervisor of the monitor. David? Do you know too much? You are a student, you are ready, and you want the first page to be signed to the supervisor, because it is an academic question. And you have the options of 3 flags. If we speak about this particular training, if we speak about this particular learning center, what flag you put to the right? Christian. Christian flag. You put it up, the supervisor comes, hello, how can I help you? And you tell the supervisor that you want to read the goals. The supervisor listens to the goals. If everything is okay, the signature appears. Without this signature, you are not to start the pace. Any time in your pace, no matter on the top of the page, at the bottom of the page, in the middle of the page, you see that the supervisor's signature is required, you have to stop and raise supervisor's flag. That's about the situation with the students. You as the supervisor, when you come to the office with where the child is planning to do some extra job, please look over the previous pages. Not just for the sake of if the answers are correct or incorrect. First of all, check if all the pages are done, if all the signatures are there. That's why control while coming and answering the flags. So the student starts working as of page number 1, and then he continues scoring till continues working till the score strips. As soon as the score strips appear, what happens? The score strips. You need to score. You are working in the pace, you find the pace, oh, I'm ready to score. Thank you. Is it the proper way to do it? No. What is the proper way to do it? Raise the flag. Scoring, academic or non-academic? Non-academic, that's why. American flag. Okay, American flag, wonderful. Yes, you may score. The supervisor steps out, the student runs away. What are the two problems? Chair and the flag. It's student's responsibility while leaving the office anytime for any reason to push in the chair and put down the flag. What will happen if the flag stands high? And what will happen if the chair is not pushed in? Demerits. No more than 3 demerits every day. And also, please remember, if we speak about merits, that is positive. We keep the record of merits for the whole period till the next merit say. As for demerits, that is negative, we do not keep the records of demerits, and at the end of each day they are cancelled. You see? That's the difference. We keep the record of positive and we forget about negative. That's how it should be always in our life. Unfortunately, sometimes it does not happen. Pace work, scoring, and from time to time, in the middle of the pace, there will be the checkups. The checkup is the special part of the pace that should not be started by the student before he receives the supervisor's signature. Because that's the place where the supervisor controls the knowledge of the child. We ask the questions on the material of the checkup, or may ask the questions on the material of the previous pictures, to understand that the child is really ready for the checkup. That's why, if it happens that the child forgets about the signature and starts doing the checkup, the best way is to come to the child, to tell him to stop and erase the answers. Because he's not supposed to start it before the signature. Several checkups, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, and at the end of the pace, the self-test. The self-test is about the material of the whole pace. Again, the child is not to start the self-test before the signature. The signature appeared, the child finished the self-test. Don't forget to score. And then also, in each of the paces, we have the scriptures. And I told you that the scriptures appear on the first page, the scriptures appear on some other pages, and the scripture appeared on the last page. And when the child is ready to hand in the pace, you check that everything is okay, and you ask to recite the scripture. The scripture is answered, paces are okay, and the final supervisor's signature appears on the last page of this piece. That means the pace is done. What happens next? First of all, of course, before signing the checkup, we have to review all the problem areas with the students, make sure the students are understanding, and so on and so forth. And we know the child is done with the pace and we did not find any problems. The pace is done, and the next step for this pace is what should be next? We need to give out the test. For these purposes, on the supervisor's table, we have the so-called 5-tray stock. We have 5 trays here to test, testing, tested, conference, and file. It's very convenient to use this kind of tray because any moment you come, you will find who is waiting for the tests, you will find who is being tested, who is already tested, and what paces you need to conference, and what paces should go already to the file. And so the pace is done, and we put it to the tray to test. For example, today is Tuesday, and we have already one student finishing the first pace in our training. This person, Marina, she gave this pace today. When she's going to do the pace test? Tomorrow. All the pace tests are done the next day. That's why, while planning the pace work, while checking the students' goals, you should tell the children that all the tests are done only the next day. That's why plan your work and let the child plan his work, that on Fridays there should not be any self-tests. Because there'll be Saturday, there'll be Sunday, wonderful rest and relaxation, biking, swimming, whatever happens. We are human beings. We tend to forget about some things, and the child and the children will absolutely forget all the material. That's why we do not suggest doing the self-test on Friday. And the best days for the self-tests are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Pace tests may be done on Tuesday, Monday, Thursday, and Fridays. Of course, when there is the end of the quarter, and there is Friday, and there will be no Monday, because they are on vacation. In these situations, we do allow students to finish their pace test the same day when they finish their self-test. For example, if you finish your self-test Friday, this week, we won't tell you to stay till Saturday or Sunday. You will finish your pace test on Friday also. So, the pace is here, and the next step is about the monitor. We have special files for each of the students with their pace tests. We find the pace test for this particular child, and the monitor pulls out this pace test from the student's file. That's why when you pull out the test at the beginning, please don't forget to write down the student's name before this test goes to the student's file. It will be easy for you. You will save your time. So the monitor finds the proper pace test and put the pace test inside the pace or outside the pace. At least there is no difference. And the pace and the pace test stays in the file to test. And testing will happen next morning. Next morning came. What usually happens during the first hour of pace work? The students are here for the first time in the day. What do we do? The opening. What are the elements of the opening? So what do we start with? To my flag and to the country it represents. Pledges. How many pledges we do? 3. National flag, Christian flag, and to the Bible. Then, different kinds of congratulations. If some pieces were done previous day, congratulations and the stars. And every child is standing, and one is coming to the supervisor receiving his certificate, and the rest should.
They have a
They
gun certificate.
Huh?
They have a gun certificate.
Well, but still, the rest of the money center, every child should clap, showing that they share the success of that particular person. And you know, the maximum score is 100. The minimum score for the students when they study in the school, depending on the level and depending on the pace, from 80%. For some of the subjects, 80%. For some of the subjects, 88%. For some of the subjects, 90%. But we do not announce the score if the score is less than 100. We announce the score of 100 only. For example, David finished his word building pace on 100%. Yoo-hoo-hoo. Congratulations, David. But Margarita finished his English. But it is not 90, it is not 100, that's why we do not announce it. So, next. And as soon as we're done with the opening, songs, congratulations, prayers, some character traits, talk, and so on and so forth, students go to the offices. And the supervisor comes to each of the students with a goal check report and discusses what happened last day and speaks about the plans for today. And it is really nice if the child will start his or her day with testing, because early in the morning the mind should be fresh, not 7 hours in the school and tired with all these for restful death I cry, as Shakespeare wrote. That's why if we see that this particular student needs the test, we come and tell you, okay, are you ready for the test? Yes, you are ready. You may take the pen, sometimes. You should take the pencil, always, because we write with the help of the pencil. No matter whether it's test or self-test, we use only the pen or the pencils. The child may take a piece of paper. If it's math, the child may take a calculator. That's it. And this is the testing table in the middle of the learning center, because the supervisor and the monitor, they should always watch what is happening here, because cheating happens sometimes, of course. That's why we provide the student with the pace test, and the pace while the child is doing his test goes to the tray testing. That means the test is here, the pace is here. We do not regulate the time the child should stay at the testing table. It might be 10 minutes, it might be 20. On the high levels, it may even take 1 hour, and so on and so forth. Let the child spend as much time as possible. Of course, not the whole day, because breaks happen, and during the break, you will find some interesting information on the correct answers. That's why it's preferable if the child is done with the pace in one lesson only. Pace test is done. The child raises his hand. Yes, how can I help you? I am ready with my test. You flip over the pages of the pace, and you do not check whether it's correct or incorrect. You check whether all the answers are filled in. Because if some of the answers are missing, please tell the child, okay, I'm afraid this answer is missing. Please take your time to finish this one. The child is done with his test. You pick up the pace test, and you take out the pace, put the pace together with the pace test, and it goes to the tray testing. That means the supervisor knows that this pace is done, the pace test is done, and it's necessary to find time for scoring. Of course, we'll suggest you and we'll tell you that it's necessary to score the completed tests after school. But, for example, in our school, the ACE teachers, they work from 9 o'clock in the morning till 3:30, 3:20.
Class semester till 3:20.
Till 3:20.
Official work time until 3:48
Yeah.
or 3:52 or something.
So you see, the whole day, the supervisor and the monitor, they have to stay in their learning centers. Our school is international school. That means kids doing 2 different programs. National one for those who are going to receive the national diploma, and those foreigners who come here to receive their international diplomas. And it may happen that the whole learning center is full, all the students are here. But sometimes foreign students go to PE or choir, some Russian students go to the national class, and it may happen that 1 or 2 students left only for this particular lesson. It's a time to score this space test if you want to save your own time. That's why the best way is to do it after school, but if you have time during the school, you may do it during the school. Then we go back to supervisor's progress card because we have the result. And the result, as I have already told you, might be from 80 to 100% depending on the level and depending on the subject. Again, we need the supervisor's progress card, and the person who is doing all the records is the monitor. The monitor records the student's test score on the supervisor's progress card in the line with this sign. You see the sign percentage, you write down the score. Sometimes kids fail these tests. They score less than possible. In this situation, you have to give back pace, and the child has to review the pace and redo it, and then again the self-test and pace test and so on and so forth. If the first score is less than minimum possible, you put the second score after he is done. But the second score should not be higher than the minimum score for this particular case. For example, for this case, the minimum score is 90. The first score is 85 and the child failed. We do not put 85 here. We are waiting for the second score. If the second score is 100, we do not put 100 on the supervisor's progress card. We put the minimum possible score 90. Because sometimes kids would fail for the first time just to study the correct answers. And then all the wonderful results will be 100. And those who pass it from the first attempt will have the average less than those guys. Because in our school we have the system of trophies. And at the end of the school year, we choose the highest average within the whole school. And there is one person in the whole school who receives the trophy with the highest average. So it influences that kind of results. So the score is on the supervisor's progress card, the pace is done, and we have the finished pace with the test, and we need to take the new one. Remember, this one was 11:09, that means the next is 11:10. And both the new pace without the test and the old pace with the test goes to the trade conference. What does mean conference? What does mean conference? How do you understand conference? Okay, forget about school. Conference. What is called? Discussion. That's correct. Because next day, for example, when the supervisor comes to each of the students, he needs to discuss the results. If the result is 100, well, wonderful, your score is absolutely great. Keep doing the same way. If there are some mistakes, please inform the student about these mistakes. Show these mistakes. Discuss what is the correct answer. This will help a child to get more knowledge and to get better results for the future.